These are the jobs you may not see every day, but just know we're working hard to make Hillsborough County a better place to live, work, and play. Subscribe to our YouTube page for more great county-related videos, only on HTV.
Good afternoon, and welcome to the September 27, 2021 second and final hearing to consider the adoption of the final fiscal year 2022 millage rate and final fiscal year 2022 annual budget of our Hillsborough Area Regional Transportation Agency. The meeting format is hybrid with we've got a quorum physically present in County Center, and we have some directors and others attending virtually. I'll open the meeting with a Pledge of Allegiance. Where is it? I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. I will now call the public hearing to order and ask for staff to do a roll call for attendance.
Director Castor, Director Frazier,
Here.
Director Hudson,
Here.
Director Johnson,
Here.
Director Kemp, Director Knight, Director Myers,
Here.
Director Overman,
Here.
Director Schisler,
Here.
Chair Smith,
Here.
Director Vieira,
Here.
Director Williams. You have quorum, Madam Chair.
Thank you. And so at this point, this is a duly advertised public hearing, and there's some legal language that has to be read into the record throughout the meeting, so please bear with me as I work my way through some of that. As I've said, there's a quorum physically present, and online we have the documents that summarize the fiscal year 2022 annual budget and the millage rate. And these documents are included in the agenda for tonight's public hearing. Did I miss, do I miss the part of public comment? No, that comes after the presentations. Thank you very much. All right. So we will consider the adoption of the following resolutions. Resolution 2021-0939 is a resolution of the Hillsborough Transit Authority of Hillsborough County, Florida, adopting the final levying of ad valorem taxes, adopting the final fiscal year 2022 millage rate of 0.5000, which is more than the rolled back rate of 0.4727 mils by 5.78%, and providing for an effective date. And the second resolution we'll consider the adoption of is R 2021-0940, adopting the final fiscal year 2022 annual budget of $168 million and $681,326, and providing for an effective date. This public hearing will be conducted as follows. HART staff will present the final fiscal year 2022 millage rate. HART staff will present an overview of the final fiscal year 2022 annual budget. The board will then open the floor for citizen comments regarding only these two items, the final millage and or final budget. Speaker comments are limited to 3 minutes. After citizen comments, the board will take action to move forward with approval of any necessary changes, and then the two resolutions will be presented to the board for approval, and the board will approve the required resolutions adopting the final fiscal year 2022 millage rate and final fiscal year 2022 annual budget. So at this point, staff will now present the final fiscal year 2022 millage rate. And I turn this over to Ms. LeGrand.
Yes, good evening, everyone. We are going to move forward with the presentation. Ms. Casares will make the presentation for the budget. Ms. Casares?
Yes, good afternoon. Good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Ms. LeGrand, and the public. Today I will present on the final fiscal year 2022 tax millage rate.
Do you need to, excuse me, but do you need to turn on your mic?
I pushed it, it's just not. Okay, thank you.
Thank you, sorry.
Sorry about that. So once again, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Ms. LeGrand, and the public. Today I will present on the final fiscal year 2022 tax millage rate. I will briefly cover an overview of the historical millage rate and ad valorem revenues. So this chart provides a 7-year comparable of the millage rate and ad valorem tax revenues from fiscal year 2016 to fiscal year 2022. The fiscal year 22 final ad valorem revenues is budgeted at $56.9 million, which is $4.2 million or 8.1% more than the fiscal year 21 budget. So the final fiscal year 2022 not to exceed millage rate of 0.500 mils is the same as the adopted fiscal year 2021 millage rate of 0.5000 mils. And again, the final fiscal year 2022 millage rate is 5.78% more than the rollback rate of 0.4727 mils. That will conclude my presentation on the millage rate, the final millage rate for fiscal year 2022. If you have any questions or comments, I'm available.
Thank you very much. Seeing no questions or comments, we can now move on to present the final fiscal year 2022 annual budget.
Thank you. Once again, good evening, Madam Chair, members of the board, Ms. LeGrand, and the public. Today, I will present an overview of the final fiscal year 2022 HART budget. This budget has previously been presented to the Finance and Audit Committee and the HART Board of Directors. I will briefly cover an overview of the operating statistics, staffing level, operating revenues and expenses, the capital revenues and expenditures, the capital project list, and the combined annual budget. The operating budget supports service levels for the 3 major transportation modes that HART provides. And these services are the fixed route, the paratransit, streetcar, and for fiscal year 22, HART projects a total of 9.3 million revenue miles, 668,000 revenue hours, and the ridership of 8.7 thousand. The budget includes 836.5 full-time equivalent positions. The majority of the jobs HART offers are bargaining positions. We are budgeting for 628 amalgamated transit union positions. These are primarily the bus operators that represent 75% of the total workforce. There are 55 full-time equivalent positions that are Teamsters positions, which are primarily operating supervisors. The final budget also includes 153 non-bargaining positions, which are operating and non-operating administrative positions. So HART develops a balanced budget every year, and for fiscal year '22, we are projecting $105 million in operating revenues and $105 million in expenses. This is a chart of total operating revenues by source and the percent that they represent. So the primary source of revenues for fiscal year '22 is from ad valorem, projected at $55.9 million, or 53% of the total budget. The federal operating grants include $15.7 million in federal relief funds provided by the Federal Transit Administration, known as the Coronavirus Response and Relief Supplemental Appropriations Act of 2021, or what we know by CARISA, the CARISA Act, and other annual federal operating grants projected at $12.3 million. These two revenues combined represent 27% of the total budget. The state operating grants and local contributions are projected at $10.8 million and combined are 10% of the total budget. Passenger fares projected at $8 million represent 8% of the total budget. And HART does not include any increases in passenger fares in this budget. All other revenues represent 2% of the total budget. The total operating expenses of $105 million are presented by expense category and the percent that these costs represent. The primary expenses are salaries and wages and are projected at $51.8 million, or 49% of the total budget. Fringe benefits are $21.2 million, or 20% of the budget. So the total for salaries, wages, and all fringe benefits are $73 million, or 70% of the total budget. All other expenses represent 30% of the budget. So the tentative, or the final capital budget is $63 million. HART categorizes the capital revenues by revenue source, and on this chart are revenues and the percent that they represent. The primary source of capital revenue is from federal capital grants, projected at $39 million, or 69% of the total budget. So these are the capital expenditures by project categories. We project to use the majority of our funding for rolling stock and maintenance, projected at $23.2 million, or 37% of the total budget. $16.3 million, or 26%, in facilities and construction, $11.4 million, or 18% in technology, and $3.5 million, or 6%, in bus stops and shelters. We also have $3 million, or 5%, in planning and studies, and 8% on all other expenses, expense categories listed. So on our next 4 slides is the list of capital projects for each category that is included in the summary that was just presented. This slide that you see lists the rolling stock and maintenance projects. We anticipate spending $23 million for rolling stock, as mentioned previously, and maintenance. And the majority of the funds, $13.5 million, is projected to be spent on compressed natural gas buses and $5.4 million on 4 electric buses. So these are the projects included in the category of facilities and construction. So our major construction project is for the reconstruction or the renovation of our heavy maintenance building located at 21st Avenue, which is budgeted at $9.7 million. Our plan is to spend $11.4 million in the category of technology, $3.5 million in bus stops and shelters, and $3 million in planning and studies. This slide lists the projects in the categories of safety and security, with expenditures of $2.3 million, $1.7 million in maintenance and equipment, $711,000 in non-revenue vehicles, and a small reserve of $575,000. This brings us to a total capital budget of $63 million. So to summarize.
Chair, we're having very difficult time hearing her. I'm sorry
Sorry.
to interrupt.
So to summarize,
Oh, that's better.
Much better, thank you.
sorry, the final operating budget is $105 million. The capital budget is $63 million. And the total combined final fiscal year '22 budget is $168.6 million. With this slide, it concludes my presentation. Does anyone have any questions or comments?
Thank you. And I see no questions or comments. Ms. LeGrand?
Thank you. As the chair stated, this is the second and final required public hearing on the final fiscal year 2022 millage rate and final fiscal year 2022 annual budget. Notification of this hearing was published in the local newspaper. The fiscal year 2022 not to exceed millage rate was certified at the July 19, 2021 board meeting and provided to the property appraiser on July 30, 2021 in conformance with state law. The fiscal year 2022 annual budget was discussed with the Board and Finance and Audit Committee during the meetings held in June through August of 2021. The final fiscal year 2022 annual budget is $168,681,326, which represents an increase of 9% from the amended fiscal year 2021 annual budget of $154,748,905. Thank you.
All right, thank you very much. And at this point, I see, I can't quite,
I have my,
thank you very much.
I just want to, I'd like to move approval of the budget at this time, if that's appropriate.
Yeah,
Second.
okay. But first, I don't know why it's not in this script, but don't we need public comment?
If we haven't called for public comment, then we do need to call for public comment.
Mm-hmm. Okay. Thank you. So we will now take public comment before we proceed, and then I'll get back to the motion. Ms. Pettit, we have people signed up for public comment tonight? So this would be public comment on the budget.
Ready?
Good evening.
Good evening.
My name is Carl W. Cosio, C-O-S-I-O. Try to make it short. My family's from the cigar factory, 300 years in Tampa, Cosio, Alvarez, Diaz, Nava, Vega. And the reason I'm complaining today is because we've lost the service from the history of Tampa starting the bus system. We had better service. We had more pleasant employees as drivers. And it seems like it's fallen apart in the last 40 years. And I've been around 5 cities in this country, basically Kansas City, New York, Cincinnati, and their service is a lot better. And we should learn from these people and go there and learn instead of talking on the phone. Because these buses, and I know it's a budget hearing, but sometimes you got to spend money to make improvements for service. And that's what's wrong with our government. It does not use any kind of tax revenue to improve a lot of times. Like this poor man here, he's handicapped. It's sad to see a bus go by him, but why? The bus driver claims, I cannot see you. Well, the shelter is open. What is wrong here and everything? I've had the same thing happen many times already. And also, we need to see why you're not getting more money if you're complaining about more money. From what I understand is, the only funding you have is from the state federal fund. Well, why can't we get money from the sports authority, who makes more money than the state? We have to take the buses. I don't take the bus to see the games, but I have to take the bus to other things to go to ACC. And that's another problem to go to ACC with these buses now, is that people who don't own a car, can't buy insurance, or handicapped or injured, do take the bus and pay for the bus fare. And the sports authority gets money from that source. Why can't we get money back from the sport authority, who are pickpocket shoplifters, for our tax dollars on it, so the bus system can improve and give you more money? Why can't we go over to the sports authority? We've had 5 mayor terms in this town, from Nick Nucio, Judge Dick Greco mayor, and Bill Poe. All 3 and all 4 always kept our bus systems up better. For some reason, after that mayoral terms have left, our city bus system or county has fallen apart. We had a better bus system when the city and the county had 2 different bus systems. When we merged, it was okay, but over the last 40 years, it's fallen apart. We've got bus drivers who are not nice. They don't care. They go by you, everything. And they claim that they can't see us. Why don't you put lights at these bus stops so people can push those lights, whatever it is, signal light, everything about it. And then the bus shelters are not being improved. You put one up, and it doesn't stay up or protect you from the weather. Where's the money from that? If you need money from that, then why can't you make the state say, hey, we're always protecting the state vehicles, why can't we protect our bus
Thank you
shelters?
very much. Your time is up.
Thank you for
Thank
letting
you for
me be
your
here.
comments.
And I want to appreciate Mr. Gregg, who's one of the nicest persons you have worked for the bus
Thank you
system,
very
who
much. Your
called me
time is
today.
up. Thank you for speaking. Is there anyone else who wishes to speak at public comment? All right. We have no other public comment. And we did have written comments delivered to us. Ms. Pettit, was that for the budget or for the regular meeting?
For the budget.
Okay, so we had some written comments, and those have been distributed to the board members, and they are also part of the record of this hearing. So at this time, I'll open the floor for board discussion and take that motion from Commissioner Kemp. Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized.
Thank you. I just quickly, with the speaker who just spoke, thank you for speaking, but Ms. LeGrand, if he is being missed at the stops, who can he contact at HART, and why? It seems like we should know if this is an ongoing problem.
Customer service, and I believe that he's been communicating with Greg Bracken, so we have that documented. Thank you.
Okay, thank you. I just wanted to make sure I did hear him say Mr. Bracken at the end there, but And also for other people that are watching, so they know. I think we've used to have more complaints like that, and so this is something we haven't heard in a while, but I'd like to thank him for coming in, and just wanted to make sure that we could address his concerns.
Okay, and so we have a motion from Commissioner Kemp to approve. Do we have to take those separately, Ms. Mandel?
Yes, you do need to vote on these separately.
And so first we do the budget and then the millage.
Yes.
We've got a motion to approve the budget, and do I have a second?
Second.
Second by Councilman Schisler. Yes, ma'am.
We do have to vote on the millage first. That's in accordance with the trim process. So
Oh,
the
okay.
millage first, followed by the budget. Thank you.
That is correct. I apologize for not catching that.
All right. Commissioner Kemp, would you like to move the millage?
Yes, I thought that
Okay.
you just repeated the millage when I heard you. Yeah, so I'll move the millage.
And
Second.
Councilman Schisler seconds that. And we thank you very much for keeping us straight on the order of that. So we'll take a roll call vote.
Director Castor,
Yes.
Director Frazier,
Yes.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp,
Yes.
Director Knight, Director Myers,
Yes.
Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Smith,
Yes.
Director Vieira,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you very much. And now we'll take a motion to adopt the
moved.
budget unless there's some discussion.
So moved.
All right, we've got a motion to approve from Commissioner Kemp, second by Commissioner Myers. We'll take a roll call vote.
Director Castor,
Yes.
Director Frazier,
Yes.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp,
Yes.
Director Myers,
Yes.
Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Smith,
Yes.
Director Vieira,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes.
Thank you. And in compliance with Florida statutes, public hearings have been held on September 13, 2021, and today, September 27, 2021, to consider the fiscal year 2022 millage rate and the fiscal year 2022 annual budget. And this concludes the public hearing. Board members, if you're willing, we'll move right into our regular meeting, seeing nobody needs a break, and wrap up the business for the evening. So the public hearing is concluded and
Perfect.
adjourned, and we're ready to move into the regular meeting.
Okay.
I go to ACC, I'm a student at Ybor City and Dale Mabry, and I want to know why, and there's been many
Sir,
complaints.
sir.
Why ACC students are paying more for a bus pass than the students from University of South Florida and University of Tampa. We both are trying to get an education, but it seems like we're the underprivileged people at ACC, and I want to know why we pay more for passes
Sir.
than they do.
Sir,
Thank you.
thank you very much. All right, we'll take that as your public comment for the regular meeting. And I believe we're going, seems a little, do we begin with another Pledge of Allegiance? I think so. So we've already pledged allegiance, and we will take attendance for the record of the regular meeting.
Director Castor,
Present.
Director Frazier,
Here.
Director Hudson,
Here.
Director Johnson,
Here.
Director Kemp, Director Knight, Director Myers,
Here.
Director Overman,
Here.
Director Schisler,
Here.
Chair Smith,
Here.
Director Vieira,
Here.
Director Williams.
Here.
You have quorum, Madam Chair.
Great. And the rules for the hybrid meeting participation are provided in the packet. And as I mentioned before, this meeting format is hybrid with our quorum physically present at County Center, while some of the board members and others are participating virtually. So at this point, we will move to approval of the minutes from the August 2nd.
So moved.
Second.
And that motion was Councilman Schisler, and second from Commissioner Myers? Oh,
Williams.
Williams, Commissioner, Director Williams, thank you.
Thank you.
Let's take roll call vote.
Director Castor,
Yes.
Director Frazier,
Yes.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp, Director Myers,
Yes.
Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Smith,
Yes.
Director Viering,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And now we'll have public input from anybody who hasn't already provided public input for this general regular meeting. Is there anyone present? I'm sorry? Well, we'll just move on, and if he comes back, we will take that item up at that time. Okay. Commissioner Kemp, you have your hand raised. Commissioner Overman, you have your hand raised?
Yes, ma'am, I did. I noticed in, hang on 1 second, let me get on the camera. I noticed before we adjourned the last meeting that when we approved the budget, did we also approve the fiscal year minutes of September 13th? Because I missed it if we did.
Okay, I want to get the agenda.
I don't know that that was part of the agenda. So no. No. Ms. Mandel, can you advise if that was a necessary step we missed, or?
Well, it appears that you haven't approved the minutes, and we're talking about the minutes from the last budget meeting. It isn't on your regular agenda. We can just go ahead and approve those minutes at your next meeting. We'll make sure those are on the agenda, if that's what, because on your agenda right now is the regular Board of Director or hybrid meeting minutes for August 2nd. What I don't see is your budget meeting minutes, but we can go ahead
It
and
was
just.
actually part of the agenda for the fiscal year 2022 final budget agenda. I would imagine that if we were to approve it today, it would be done.
If we just missed it on your fiscal budget agenda, that's fine. We can just go ahead and approve it during your regular agenda meeting. That's just for the purposes of ensuring the record is clear and complete
Yeah.
as to what your
Understood.
final minutes are.
So that's why I would ask, if we were going to approve
Got
the
it.
minutes, let's go ahead and approve those as well, since they were part of the dual agendas that went out today.
What I would do is, yeah, go ahead and as you're doing your approval of the minutes, go ahead and then add those from your fiscal budget year.
Commissioner Overman, you want to make that motion?
Yes, I will move to approve. Well, have we taken the vote on the one for August 2nd?
Yes.
Okay, all right. So that being done, I'd like to make a motion to approve the fiscal year 2022 tentative budget hearing minutes of September 13th, 2021.
Great. Got a motion from Commissioner Overman, second by Commissioner Myers. We'll take a quick roll call vote on that.
Director Castor,
Yes.
Director Frazier,
Yes.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp,
Yes.
Director Myers,
Yes.
Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Smith,
Yes.
Director Viering,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
And has our public comment stepped back in the room? Welcome.
Hello. All right. My name is Henry. I have several questions for the board because there is some troubles somewhere within the transit system that I not liking. But I do have 5 questions. Let's see if I can get them out in 3 minutes. Is it true that there's not is it true that there's not any drivers around here? So why don't HART have enough drivers? And I want to know what's going to be done about it for HART to get those drivers. And why don't you, and you know, like, why HART don't have any drivers? Another question is, do anybody know why these drivers are just walking away? I mean, come on. I mean, I understand it's a stressful thing for a bus driver, but shame on the mess, man, because, I mean, buses are missing, buses are broken, the routes are being screwed up, time is being taken away from one specific route to be put on another, and Henry almost died twice waiting for one bus, one route, 2 different days. So that's my question. I hope somebody has some answers.
Well, the way this works is you give your comment for 3 minutes, and we'll get staff to work with you for, to answer your questions in the back of the room. Somebody can get your contact information and get back with you with those answers.
Yeah, I'm just right now, you know, it's shame on a mess. It's a shame on a mess. Henry loves this service, but Henry believes I believe HART's a great service right now. I've been riding HART forever. But, man, ever since this whole Corona thing, everything's just going downhill. Like I said, I almost waited for the 14 twice and nearly passed out twice because the sun is so hot and it takes so long for the 14 to even leave Yukon Transfer Center. Now, before the 14 fell apart, the 14 was so easy to catch. But now I guess it's not so easy to catch after all. And I'm just hoping that somebody could fix this problem and fix it fast. Other than that, I still love HART. I'm going to continue to ride HART. I'm going to continue to love and support my bus drivers.
Thank you very much for your comment, and we will have somebody get your contact information so they can get back with you and discuss the situation of bus operators.
Yeah.
Thank you. And that brings us to, that's the end of our public comment. Ms. Bennett? Thank you very much. So now we go to board appointments. We have 2 appointments for boards to fill out. Typically, we do this all the boards together when we're doing board elections. But in these 2 cases, we've had somebody step off, and somebody, Director McLean has left the board entirely. Is that correct?
That's correct.
Yeah.
These are 2 open appointments due to one, a resignation of Director McLean, and the second is Council Member Vieira, and he has a conflict.
And so technically, the term just goes till we have that meeting. When is that, January?
January, I think, is when we do all that.
Yeah, January 1st.
So this would be a shortened term.
Yeah. So this is an opportunity for board members to try out a position on one of these boards. And if you don't like it, it's not that long a commitment. We can appoint somebody else in January. So, Ms. Mandel, you want to take it on?
All right, well, we can go ahead and call then for nominations for the HART ADA Committee. We need 1 appointment, and there is also an alternate that you, Chair, are sitting as the alternate. But why don't we go ahead and call for our nominations for the to sit on the committee, and then we can talk about the alternate. Is there any nominations for a member to sit on the HART ADA committee?
How about any volunteers?
Volunteers, yes. Do we know what day that committee meets? Maybe that would help.
I don't know, because we just got this. Is it monthly? Right, so, you'd have like one meeting. Thank you very much.
I'll volunteer and
Thank you very
participate on the
much.
board.
Director Williams.
Director Williams then is volunteered, and unless there's any other nominations, when we go ahead and close that, we can take an action to appoint.
Move
So
to
that-
approve the appointment.
So is a motion to appoint?
Yes, move to approve the appointment of Ms. Williams.
Second.
Why don't we go ahead and take a vote on that?
Okay.
Director Castor,
Yes.
Director Frazier,
Yes.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp,
Yes.
Director Myers,
Yes.
Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schisler,
Yes,
Chair Smith,
Yes.
Director Vieira,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
And Chair Smith, you currently serve as the alternate on that board. Do we want to just go ahead and see if there's any nominations for the alternate, or go ahead and have you continue in that capacity?
We can keep it like this until we do all board appointments in January.
Very good,
Thank you.
thank you. Why don't we move on to the second appointment to the Barta Board of Directors? We just have one appointment, we don't have an alternate. So I'm seeking a nomination for that appointment.
Do we know when that meets, Ms. Mandel?
Do we have that in?
I do on Friday. I'm on the board.
Oh, okay.
So that's why I say.
Looks like it's the
It's
fourth
Friday mornings on.
Fourth Friday of the
I
month
think
at
that's
9:30.
right. We just met. I'll nominate Commissioner Overman. I don't know if she's interested.
I'll second.
How did I see that coming?
Are there any other nominations then? Seeing no other nominations, why don't we take a vote on Commissioner Overman? Thank you.
Director Castor,
Yes.
Director Frazier,
Yes.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp,
Yes.
Director Myers,
Yes.
Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schisler,
yes,
Chair Smith,
Yes.
Director Vieira,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you.
Thank you.
And thanks to everybody for volunteering and stepping up to those board appointments. So that brings us to the consent agenda. The Finance and Audit Committee met on August 16th and reviewed action items 5A through 5C and recommended their approval. So those items are in your backup.
move to approve consent agenda.
Second.
Got a motion to approve by
Second.
Councilman Schisler, second by Director Hudson. And any discussion? Commissioner Kemp, is your hand up?
I'm sorry.
Okay.
Can I, just one point from the, I just wanted to ask Ms. Mendel. So Mr. Rich McLean, Director McLean resigned from the Barta board, but from our board?
He resigned from our board, and he was our appointment
Oh,
to the Barta board.
okay. I just didn't
I
understand.
apologize if I didn't make that clear. Yes, Mr. McLean has
Resigned
from the
okay.
HART board. Thank
Okay,
you.
I just wanted that clarification. Thank you.
Okay. Motion to approve the consent agenda. Let's take a roll call vote.
Director Castor,
Yes.
Director Frazier,
Yes.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp,
Yes.
Director Myers,
Yes.
Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schissler?
Yes.
Chair Smith?
Yes,
Director Viera?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
thank you. And now we have action items that have not been reviewed by any of our committees, and our CEO, Ms. LeGrand, will be introducing these two, 6A and 6B. Thank you. Ms. LeGrand.
Thank you, Madam Chair. So the first resolution is focused on the Flamingo Pass. We have a presentation, if you can show that, please. Really, what I want to do today is to follow up on 4 questions that were asked during our last committee meeting. And we did a presentation, several presentations over the last couple of months related to Flamingo, but at our last committee meeting, there were 4 questions that were posed regarding providing some additional updates. So we're going to go through this evening. Next slide, please. So the 4 questions that were posed really focused on the items on the slide, which are the project cost sharing, the system technology options, the fair adoption rate, and then the system and user error reporting. Next slide. So for the project cost, overall, the total project cost will be $12,390,509. And this is an increase of $1.3 million, as you see here on the slide. So our conversations over the last couple of months have been about this $1.3 million addition. Next slide. So the cost sharing, we've presented this information in the past. So if you look at these 3 columns after the agencies, the total cost, if you look next to HART, was $5.9 million, which is broken down into 3 buckets, federal, state, and local. So you see the federal contribution was $2.4 million, and then the state contribution was $3.3 million. Overall, our local share was $172,000. What I want to point out here is in previous conversations, we didn't really break out the local share. We spent a lot of time talking about the total amount, which gave, I would say, an unbalanced representation of how many HART dollars are actually being allocated toward this effort. So if you look at it, just focusing on the local dollars, it's been a 2% commitment from the HART coffers as it relates to the overall project cost. And then you see our other partners here. You have PSTA, who again, based on their local contribution, it's been 3%, and Barta had a contribution of 2%. So this is a new representation of the information. I know we talked about it verbally, but I thought it was important for you to see how those dollars were actually allocated across those 3 funding sources, federal, state, and local. Next slide, please. When we look at the O&M cost sharing, this is again where we had a lot of robust conversations. So for the next, fiscal year 22, we're looking at a cost of $1.3 million. And in the past, we had the conversation where HART was going to be responsible for the lion's share of that. And that was in our original agreement that we would cover the O&M costs for the first year. Since we've met in April, we've had a series of conversations with our partners, and we're here today to present how we're going to break down the allocation of costs for FY22. Again, you see here that HART is going to contribute 42%. PSTA is going to cover 52%, with the rest of the partners covering the remaining costs. I, again, would like to officially thank PSTA for stepping up to the plate. We had several conversations, and we recognize the benefit of us all trying to contribute as much as possible to move this effort forward, and they have actually stepped up and made that happen. Next slide, please. So the next question was an understanding of the update of the system technology. As you see here, there are some options for e-fare collection, full-featured account-based system. So that's really you have an account, and based on your account, when you tap your card, money comes out of your actual account, like an individual bank account, if you will. There's also FlashPass mobile app technology, as well as open payment, which allows you to use any kind of card that you may have or device, and you can use that to pay for transit as well as going to CVS or whatever you choose to do. So there are lots of options out there. What we want to show in the second column is that the APTA conference, the American Public Transportation Conference, is going to be held in November 7th through the 10th in Orlando. It is free for the Transform Conference for those who are members of APTA, and there will be vendors there who cover e-fare collection. So we're scheduling appointments to meet with those vendors and ask specific questions related to where we are right now in our process and what tools they have available for us to, at least have a better understanding of what's out there in the market. So that opportunity will exist, and we'll be able to come back in December and provide you with an update of what we've learned. Next slide, please. So adoption rate was the third question that was posed, and what we want to show here on this slide, and hopefully you can see this, the darker color represents our GFI fare. So that's basically what we're doing today, non-flamingo. That's the paper card and the cash that people may use. The lighter color represents our flamingo fare. So if you notice, if you look at the chart where you see from February of 21 to August of 21, that's where you start seeing an uptick in our adoption rate. That is also when we've had a larger campaign for marketing engagement and really working with the retail network. So as of August of 2021, you definitely see that we have been increasing from February, significantly. Our hope here is that we continue at this adoption rate going from 10,000 to 63,000 between February and August. Again, we have a lot of, I would say, areas that we need to gain because we're going approximately 500,000 to 60 is not really a whole lot, but we're moving in the right direction. As we continue over the next couple of months, we will again continue our engagement process, working with the retail outlets and doing more marketing, direct marketing, so that we can increase these numbers, but did want to present this to you. So we've gone from an adoption rate of 1.7% to 13%. Next slide, please. And then the last question was the system and user error reporting. And what we did from, again, remembering the last slide, our adoption rate is around 13%. So out of that, we looked in the system to see what types of errors are we seeing. So 75, close to 76% are valid taps. So that means when someone comes on with their Flamingo Pass, 76% of those times there are no errors. Approximately 20%, there are some user errors, so the user really doesn't have a full understanding of how to use the card, so there are some errors there. And then we've noticed that in 5% of the cases, there are errors with the system. And what that means is there may have been a glitch on a specific vehicle, and we have to get back with the within it to have them make some corrections. So overall, we feel with our 13% adoption rate that our errors are manageable, and they also help us to do a better job and ensure that we've gotten any of the hiccups out of the system, if you will. Next slide. So what we'd like to ask tonight, and I'll turn it over to Madam Chair, is a resolution to approve the increase of $1.3 million. But what I want to share here is that we're asking for 1.3 because the contract is with HART. But in reality, the funds that are coming from HART will not be the complete 1.3. It's the breakdown that was presented on the slide that shows the O&M cost sharing. But again, since the contract is between HART and INIT, we have to ask for the full amount, and then our partners in our agreement will provide us with the funds to make those payments. So thank you. That's it for my presentation.
Thank you, Ms. LeGrand. I see a few hands raised. Commissioner Overman, you're recognized.
Thank you. This is awesome, actually. I mean, it's a 500% increase since February in adoption, really. I mean, over how many were using it. And one of the things that I had frequently had said is the barrier to entry is trying to figure out how to pay to get on. So having the technology, although we may learn more in November, having the technology available and having PSTA and our other partners assist in the second year funding of the advancements that we asked for example, making sure that we were able to handle the different fare rates for people with disabilities that had a discount. Things like that make it easier for individuals to take advantage of the transit service. So I am very pleased to see this, and I move approval.
And I'll
Thank you.
second.
And we have a motion for approval by Commissioner Overman, second by Commissioner Kemp. And Councilman Schisler, you're recognized.
Yes, thank you. I just wanted to go on record saying thank you for this information. I know I was worried about the black hole that we were creating, where the dollars were all coming from, and it's obvious that we're getting significant cost sharing from a lot of places, and HART's not paying other than the 170-some thousand. That's very good. Thank you for supplying that information. And I just want to, I agree with what we're doing with the concept. Just be careful of scope creep. It gets bigger and bigger, and I just don't want to run out of money someday on this thing. That's all.
Thank you. Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized.
Thank you. And I think I've continually raised most concerns and questions about several things about the Flamingo system, and I'm really pleased, Ms. LeGrand, that you answered my questions here tonight, because you have shown how that actually works. It wasn't that we were the only ones paying for 1 year of operating costs, which is what, I've been told several times and appeared to be in the information we were presented. But it looks like beyond that as well, that you actively went out and worked and renegotiated how the future payments would come, which only makes sense that that should be done. It'll be it could, I hope. I mean, we want to have a system like this. I just I wanted a system that worked and not a system that unfairly burdened Hillsborough County to fund it. So this is all really good news. And I had one technical question, and I saw the error rate in that. I'm just wondering, so what happens if someone does get on and they can't seem to get it to tap? How do we record? Because I'm concerned about that, because a few people have said that happened, and then we don't know that we have riders.
May I respond, Madam Chair?
Yes, please.
So that is a great question, and that's something that we troubleshot. Do you say it? Troubleshoot it? I don't know. Troubleshoot it. It just sounds weird. But so we have looked into that, and that was a great question. And there are opportunities for our bus operators to, if you will, press a button that states that it was a Flamingo fare, just so at least we can document how what tool they use to get on the vehicle. And this also works if someone has like a card that's not registering. There's a button that says that they tried to use their pass and it doesn't work. So we're working to train the operators so that they know to press that button so that we can capture those rides.
Great, that's good. So this is, I'm just really pleased to see this moving ahead, and I hope it continues to move ahead and we're able to do this with the system. And thanks very much, because I know you've worked a lot on kind of reining this in and explaining to us how it moves forward in the future in a way that we can all watch and hopefully all benefit from.
Okay, seeing no other discussion, Councilman Schisler, your hand is still raised, but you're done. So we'll take a roll call vote on that motion.
Director Castor?
Yes.
Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Hudson?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Kemp?
Yes.
Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Chair Smith?
Yes.
Director Vieira?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And the next action item, 6B, I will again turn over to our CEO, Ms. LeGrand.
Yes, this one is just to retroactively renew our sponsorship agreement with Publix on naming rights for one of our streetcar stations. We just want to extend the existing contract for a 1-year term. All the other terms and conditions are the same. This is just something that we needed to bring before you to have approved. So hopefully there's nothing extra exciting about this.
Second.
Thank you. I have a motion to approve by Commissioner Overman, second by Commissioner Myers. Is there any discussion? Seeing none, we'll take a roll call vote.
Director Castor?
Yes.
Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Hudson?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Kemp? Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Chair Smith?
Yes.
Director Vieira?
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And.
Hello.
uh,
Direct.
I'm sorry, is,
Director Knight.
I'm sorry, we have a caller called in that's unidentified. They've been muted now.
okay. Thank you. Was that Director Knight?
It did sound like Director Knight.
Chair, with your permission, I could unmute him.
Yep. Thank you. Is that Director Knight with the calling in from a phone number ending in 90?
Yes, can you hear me?
Yes. Good evening, Director Knight. Are you voting on our last motion?
Yes,
Okay.
I'm voting yes.
All right. Thank you very much. I take that as a yes vote also for 6B. Thank you. And that takes us to item 7, the sole source procurement and one-time deviation. Ms. LeGrand, do we have anything there?
Yes, we just had, if Ms. Pettit can pull up the sheet, please. So what we wanted to present tonight is or this evening, the overall sole source award form. We have no updates for the month of August, but we do want to present what we have for July because our last meeting, we were unable to present the July number. So here we have a $35,000 award to Safety Audit Bus and Rail, and that was from APTA. So they did a safety audit for us for Bus and Rail, and it cost $35,000. Our overall sole source awards total year to date, and this goes through August of 2021, was $1.1 million.
Thank you. Well done. Councilman Schisler, you're recognized.
I have a question, but it's not related to the sole source. I'm not sure where I can get my question. It's not related to that.
Okay.
I'm sorry.
Maybe just go ahead and roll.
Okay, I'm sorry, I apologize. Wasn't sure, I had no questions on the sole source. My question was related to the recent BOCC decision on the ferry system. Is that going to be moved under HART, or what's the future of that?
I was going to get to that in my
Okay,
chair's
I will leave it
report.
alone. I apologize.
Great, thanks. We'll get there. So, but first, we'll have the CEO report.
Okay, my report is extremely brief. I just wanted to give a quick update. I know we've had several conversations about the strategic planning, visioning work that we've been doing over the last couple of months. To date, I have met with every department within the organization to talk about their individual visions. Some I've met with 3 times, others it's only been twice. So the plan was, or is, internally to meet 3 times with each department and have internal conversations about that division or that team's vision for the future. And then on October 18th, we are meeting off-site and having a larger strategic planning internal session with all the groups in the room together to knit the individual vision statements together. So very excited. Each one of the directors who are in the room today have done a great job of, engaging their team to have them participate in this effort. So again, if you are the director of the director of IT, I see Dexter in the room, that's getting everyone from IT in the room to really talk about how they see themselves in the next 5, 10, and 20 years supporting the transit agency from their vantage point. So these conversations have occurred throughout every one of our divisions. If you look out into the back of the room, each one of those directors, their organizations have participated in this session, and then we'll have a combined vision statement that reflects the internal organization after our October 18th session. In addition, I also wanted to share that, we have been very fortunate to work with a great team. Earlier, you supported or approved rather our budget, and this was an effort that has been going on since March, and each one, again, of these folks in the back of the room who lead organizations, or departments rather, in the organization have been sitting at the table, really looking at a bottom-up approach to building our budget and ensuring that our budget reflects or connects to where we want to go in the short term as we work on our long-term vision. So again, I would like to take this opportunity to thank them all for stepping up and helping us to get to where we are today, which is something that we should all be proud of and celebrate. And lastly and not leastly, I want to recognize Ms. Kirk and Ms. Casares for working together. If you would think of it through this lens, I'm new, they're both new in their roles, and they rolled up their sleeves and got the job done without a hiccup. The fact that Ms. Kirk could step up to the podium today and say we needed to approve the millage rate first and then go into the budget shows their dedication and diligence to understanding the process and the requirements. So I want to thank them for being top-notch and, again, having a great team to support HART and where we're going. That's it for me. Thank you.
Thank you. And thank you very much for giving us all this opportunity to express our appreciation for the great work of the staff. I am very proud, I know we all are, of how HART has been reinventing itself and coming together, turning new pages and moving forward. I'm very proud. I'm proud of the team that you are bringing together, Ms. LeGrand, and certainly that includes Ms. Wright helping us stay on track during the budget process. So I know I speak for the whole board in saying we are all very appreciative and grateful. I see a lot of head nodding here to that effect. Okay, and that takes me to the chair's report. Usually I don't have anything to report, but this time I'm very excited to talk about the item Councilman Schisler was foreshadowing. We have had a lot of advancement of the Cross Bay Ferry and a commitment to expanding that Cross Bay Ferry service just in the past week. I went and spoke to Pinellas County Commission as they considered continuing and expanding the Cross Bay Ferry service, and they voted to do that, as did the two cities of Tampa and St. Petersburg and Hillsborough County. And that allowed, all those approvals allowed us to apply for a federal grant that just became available a few weeks prior for up to $5 million for funding for the Cross Bay Ferry. And that needed to have a local match, and boom, Hillsborough County has stepped up and approved $1 million for a 20% local match of the $5 million grant we're applying for, should we get it. So there would be no funds needed from HART. HART would necessarily be an applicant as the local transit agency, but would be providing no funds. And amazingly, the stars align, and we happen to have a CEO who has applied for this, successfully applied for this very grant before for the city of New Orleans. And so she is able to contribute her expertise to the effort to see if we can secure this federal grant. Our application is due October 5th, and I'm told it's been a very collaborative effort with all the parties involved in putting together that grant application. So I'm optimistic. We have not in the past asked for board approval for grants like this or any other grants, and we don't technically need board approval for this grant, but since we happen to be having this meeting occurring in time, I would love to be able to include board support for that grant application along with the application.
So moved.
Second.
Second.
Thank you. Got a motion to approve by Commissioner Kemp, second by Councilman Schisler and Commissioner Overman. And Commissioner Overman, you're recognized.
Thank you, Chair, and thank you, Ms. LeGrand and Chair, for recognizing the value of applying for this grant application. A ferry is a transit asset, is a transit system, or at least the provision of it. And in working with my other hat on, as the board's appointee to the Greater Tampa Chamber of Commerce, Military Advisory Council, I have had an opportunity to meet with members of the base, members of leadership at the base, as well as many, many members of those in the community that travel to the base each day. So in that effort, I recognize that their HART needed to be at the table. So I'm very glad with this application, along with the commitment that the Board of County Commissioners have put into place, that we are actively working as a team, as a transit agency and a transportation partner, are actively looking for every stone unturned to find a way to provide not only a great regional transportation asset for our community, but also to find a way to address the challenges that many of those that serve at MacDill and work and go to MacDill Air Force Base on a regular basis, to take advantage of something that could possibly really make a big difference in the Tampa Bay region. I also appreciate the due diligence that it takes, but given that this deadline was literally next week,
Yeah.
I am very grateful and wanted to share my appreciation for those of you that stepped to the plate as quickly as you did to make sure that we don't miss this opportunity. And I'll stop there.
Thank you very much. And with that, Commissioner Kemp?
I guess I'll just say, this could turn a page, and I'm very excited. It's so great that Ms. LeGrand had prior experience, and just for those, I think you said this, and I was surprised. I think the grant possibility just got advertised like 3 weeks ago or something. I guess that's the way these go, just randomly, and you don't know, and it's closing out October 5th. So we've got a really strong, application opportunity. And that would be a wonderful thing. And just because we were dealing with the budget right now, we were able to get $1 million in support from Hillsborough County to do a 20% match, should it get approved as well. The Hillsborough County just approved doing the design, engineering, permitting over the next 3 years that could more or less make this shovel-ready, both the year-round system from Tampa to St. Pete in the evenings and weekends, as well as a commuter ferry from MacDill to, or South County to MacDill, and then evenings and weekends, South County to Tampa to St. Petersburg, which, as I know Commissioner Smith knows this, I can tell you I know this, people are desperate. I mean, they are just, it is incredible, people that are asking for this, that write in, that email us, that contact us, the enthusiasm and support. So I'm really looking forward to that happening.
Thank you. Councilman Schisler.
Yes, thank you, Madam Chair. At risk of sounding somewhat hypocritical, a couple of years ago, I voted against a study moving forward with the ferry system. However, since then, my attitude towards it has changed for several reasons. One, speaking to people who would be impacted by it, speaking with Ms. LeGrand and her past experience with the whole project, and the fact that it would make us a complete transportation opportunity, for lack of a better word. And that's why I'm supporting it wholeheartedly. I think it's going to be a great deal, and for the county and for all of our residents, particularly South County and MacDill and so forth, and then moving across back and forth on the bay. So that's just why I've changed my support to the project, and I wish hope it gets done pretty quickly. Thank you.
Thank you very much for speaking up in support. I've been supporting this project for a long, long time. As Commissioner Kemp mentioned, our citizens are as well. And listening to those citizens, I'm glad that you have been listening to the community, as I know we all have. It will be very exciting in the final stage of this when we have boats, 4 boats, 3 of them going, I don't know if you can see me, like from South County to Tampa and St. Pete, and then back like this in opposing triangles. And so you never have to, go anywhere other than where, make one trip. So if you want to go from Tampa to St. Pete, you've got that boat. If you want to go from St. Pete to Tampa, you've got that boat. If you're coming to South County or going from South County, you've got that boat. And I tell you, I can't wait for that day. So I'm glad I hope to be getting a favorable vote from the board on applying for the grant, just so we can add that support. We are already getting support from other agencies and groups in support of the grant as well, so it'd be nice to have board support. And with that, we'll take a roll call vote.
Director Castor,
Yes.
Director Frazier,
Yes.
Director Hudson,
Yes.
Director Johnson,
Yes.
Director Kemp,
Yes.
Director Knight,
Yes.
Director Myers.
Yes.
Yes.
Yes, sir. Director Overman,
Yes.
Director Schisler,
Yes.
Chair Smith,
Yes.
Director Vieira,
Yes.
Director Williams.
Yes.
Motion passes unanimously.
Thank you. And Commissioner Kemp, you're recognized.
Yes, I just want to thank everyone and let you all know, we believe that we can start up service. We used to start on November 1st, and this year, because of we were going to start October 1st, but that we can't quite get there because of these votes, the way they went down. So October 15th looks like our inaugural day that we're planning, and all the HART board members will be invited to be part of that. And I hope that everyone can come and participate, because it's a wonderful trip. I'm waiting for it to start up again.
Great, and thank you. So now we move to the General Counsel's report.
Yes, good evening, board members. What I wanted to bring up to you today is, I think you received an email, and there was some conversation about it a little bit earlier today, about the APTA conference that's coming up in November. The way your process works, you would have had to have decided before today in order for us to have a resolution prepared and brought forward in order to authorize going on taking this travel opportunity. So one, I just wanted to, I don't believe anybody had said that they wanted to go, but just wanted to find out if anybody did want to go, or if the board would want to say authorize in a vote form today to allow that if somebody makes that decision at the last minute. In addition, something we may want to consider is that particular policy. It's a relatively onerous policy in terms of having, and you want to have, somebody who's making sure that it's not being abused, but it does give up certain opportunities because of the way that works. So I probably will want to bring forward and make a request at another meeting to change your travel policy, but wanted to bring that up today to see if there was anybody who was interested in going, or whether or not we wanted to just go ahead and take an action that would, in fact, authorize anybody who wanted to go, and we can bring that back on a consent agenda in November that way.
Commissioner Kemp, is your hand raised for this item? Yes.
Yes, just quickly. I think it is something that we need to rethink. So thank you for saying that you'll bring it back. I wasn't changing, because I know it costs $900 to register, and, several days I have meetings here at, we have a land use meeting, which is for commissioners, right in the middle. So, I will probably figure out if we can drop by for a little bit or something like that. It's in Orlando. But I do think the policy needs to be relooked at. Thank you.
Yes, Ms. LeGrand, you're recognized.
Thank you. So I just wanted to state, this year is an expo year. So what that means is that anyone who is a member of APTA, which HART is a member, and because you're board members, you're also members of APTA, There's no cost for the expo. So the expo is an exposition of vendors and all their products they have to offer. So from seeing electric buses to other types of technology, different types of mobile apps. Usually they have like a huge mobile phone, if you will, that you can touch and play around with. So all of that is free. So if there are board members who are interested in participating in the expo, you do not have to register with a cost. You just go online and register that you're going to expo, but there's no cost associated with that, no financial cost. In addition, all committee meetings are free. So as board members, you are also able to participate in committee meetings without any cost. I believe, if my memory serves me correctly, that the board-related committee meetings, so there are 3 specific board-related committee meetings. So there is the Board of Directors meeting for public agencies. There's also a Board of Directors legislative committee meeting. So that's a legislative committee meeting that's focused on board members and their role in participating in legislative-related issues. And there's also a Board Administrators Committee meeting. I believe all of those are on Sunday. I believe they're from 9 to 9:30, and then 9:30 to 10:30, and 10:30 to 11, something to that effect. Also on Saturday, I believe, is the General Board of Directors meeting for the APTA board. So that's a huge meeting, but if you're interested in the business or the nuances of how APTA organizes itself and the overall APTA board meeting, that's also on Saturday. So that entire program is on the APTA website, and if you want to take a look at that, you can definitely do that. And then the last thing I would share is that if there's any board member who's interested in participating, please let us know, and we will work to make sure that you are assigned to a staff person that can help you navigate. APTA is huge, and when it's an expo, it's huge on steroids. Plus, people have not been in person for a while, so the expectation is that there'll be more people who are attending just to get out and about. So again, if you are interested, let us know. Let us know which committees you may be interested in attending outside of just the board-specific committees. There are lots of other committees. There are over 159 committees at APTA, so there's more than enough for you to engage in. Let us know, and in most cases, there will be staff people who are already planning on attending those committees for their portfolio of projects. So we'll definitely make sure that you are paired with someone who can help you navigate.
Thank you. And I'm thinking we might want to go the route of having a general motion right now that would cover any last-minute decisions by board members that might want to attend. I do see Commissioner Overman hand up. Commissioner Overman, you're recognized.
I'll second, she said.
Yeah, I'll make the motion and second it. And I did want to encourage all of the board members to really seriously try and find, we clearly, the Board of County Commissioners have conflicts that are challenging in order to be able to attend the entire thing. However, I have attended the APTA conference several years ago when I was in Jacksonville. The board training committee session that I attended was significantly helpful in understanding, our role and how we work with our board. And I think as we're building out our strategic plan, it's no better time to get that perspective. Additionally, meeting the various different vendors, to get an understanding of what's out there and what people are doing is very helpful. But also the legislative session, given what's happening with the infrastructure plan, which we may have some resolution by then, would also probably be a very beneficial conversation or opportunity to share information and learn from those that have been actively working in that space. So I would like to attend. I'm trying to figure out how to manage it. But even if I were only able to attend a couple of the days or several of the sessions, I would see it as time very well spent. And I wanted to share that with the board members that may not have attended in the past. I've learned an enormous amount attending that conference, and I would hate for our members to not realize the value of actually attending it, especially since it's right over in Orlando instead of, somewhere else in the country. So it's a great opportunity to go to a conference that's almost local. for us to be able to learn from other agencies and really hear what's going on in the industry right up front. So I'll stop there.
Thank you very much, Commissioner Overman, for sharing that from your experience. And we have a motion by Commissioner Overman, second by Commissioner Kemp to, yes?
And I was just going to ask if I could clarify what I think the motion is,
Yeah.
since it's kind of just a little more of an ad hoc situation, that the motion would authorize any member of the HART Board who wishes to travel to the APTA conference to go ahead and move forward with that travel, and any appropriate, under your policy, expenses would be paid for. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Exactly. That's it.
Yeah, okay.
You
Roll
said it.
call vote, please.
Director Castor? Director Frazier?
Yes.
Director Hudson?
Yes.
Director Johnson?
Yes.
Director Kemp?
Yes.
Director Knight?
Yes.
Director Myers?
Yes.
Director Overman?
Yes.
Director Schisler?
Yes.
Chair Smith?
Yes.
Director Vieira?
Yes.
Director Williams?
Yes.
Motion carries unanimously.
Thank you, and we've got reports in your packets. This is the time we ask for any old business or new business that anybody wants to bring up. And seeing none, this concludes the business for the day, and our meeting is adjourned. Thank you very much, board members, and we'll get with you in the back. Thank you.
Thank you, everyone.